Arizona is known as the state of the 5 C's: cattle, copper, cotton, citrus, and climate. And every one of these require water and lots of it. So the powers that be decided to build some dams on the Salt River Project. And you can go to some of the stories we've already told about Roosevelt Dam and about Apache Trail and see the whole story. Today you better put your seatbelts on because we're going to go to some on-site locations and view some water stops and other things that are still there today that you can explore. The animals, of course, were so dependent upon water that they had to have water just every so far and have a rest stop. And we're going to 3 of the 5 locations where the water was. We can't go any further because of the blockage of the Apache Trail by a landslide, but we do have some pictures of the locations of the last 2 water stops. We're on location here at the Weeks Ranch water stop. When the Roosevelt Road was built, which is called the Mesa Tonto Roosevelt Road, and then ended up being called the Apache Trail. It was started in 1903 and finished in 1905. And there was as many as 60 wagon teams on the road at any one time. And from Mesa, this was the first major stop that they could get water for their animals. And this is the tank, and we've got a picture here we're going to show you of when it was operational, but this is the tank that the animals would drink from. And you can see this piece of pipe here that they brought water down from the major reservoir where the windmill was into this tank. This is the main water reservoir at Weeks Ranch that the windmill kept this full at all times, and they pumped water down to the feeding troughs where we were a little bit earlier. And you can see right across the road is the museum itself. This is part of the 160 acres that was in receivership with the Royal Bank of Canada, that we made a deal with the Royal Bank of Canada to tie up and sell this land off, which paid for everything for the building of the museum. That was on 54 acres over there that we sold 2 parcels off, and then the 15 acres over here we sold off. And then this 87.5 acres was sold separately. And I was told today that one of the relatives of the Weeks, still by the name of Weeks, is who put in this operation here, which I'm not quite sure what it is about, but they're working on something that's still in the family. Well, we're on location here at the second water stop, probably the most common. This is known as Government Wells. There was 2 or 3 wells here, and one of them you see right behind us. This is where Jim Hatt, by the way, who was a nuclear engineer who gave up his job to search for the Lost Dutchman gold mine. He was the caretaker of this property where there's a couple of gold mines actually here. This is also the beginning of Apache Trail, where all the switchbacks begin right up the road here. And there was 200 Pima Indians that started the Apache Trail at this end and 200 Apaches at the other end. And they met in the middle. Well, here we are on location at Tortilla Flat. This is the 3rd water stop on the way to Roosevelt Dam on Apache Trail. The water tank behind me was put into place in 1903 to 1905 when it was used. And we really can't go any further today because of the landslide that's closed Apache Trail at Fish Creek Hill. And at the bottom of the hill was the lodge and became a water stop, and the last water stop is beyond that. Well, there you have it, folks. Today we get in the car, we want to go someplace. We got to run on gasoline and oil. And back then, those hay burners, all they had was grass and water to get to where they were going. So if you need to go out and do a little exercise, just go out and stop at these places we're talking about. And well, who knows? Maybe you'll solve a few of the mysteries of the Superstition Mountains.
Thank you for watching this episode of Mysteries of the Superstition Mountains. Bye.